YouTube, veterans, military, back again with another banger. Today we're going to be talking about how the VA conned us all with this VA Pact Act presumptive conditions. Tune in. If you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below your personal experience, and let me know if you are one of the thousands of veterans who either got a 0% or 10% for allergic rhinitis, chronic sinusitis, and then the whole list of VA Pact Act presumptives. Let's get into it. So first of all, we got the Congress, we got the VA. They were plotting. They've been plotting about this for 10, 15, 20 plus years. When it comes to all these disabilities listed on the Pact Act presumptive condition list. Now, it was signed into law back in August of 2022. Cool Gucci. It made disabilities that veterans have been trying to get service connected for years. Since Vietnam, since before Vietnam, Gulf War, OIF, OEF, into present day era veterans trying to get service connected for disabilities such as allergic rhinitis, chronic sinusitis, bronchitis, and in some cases, possibly hypertension. But when the VA processes these claims, veterans are waiting months, years, following PACT Act. They're waiting months, they're waiting years for an adjudication of that claim specifically. And once that claim is finalized, veterans are getting 0%, 10%. I've done the math. About 75% of veterans who are currently service connected for allergic rhinitis, chronic sinusitis, bronchitis, hypertension, service connected at 10% or lower. Very few reach that 30% or that 50%. Why is that? Yeah, it's cool and it's cute. I mean, it's not cute, but hey, it's cool that, okay, cool. If you've been dealing with these issues, these disabilities related to the PACT Act presumptive conditions, well, now you're able to get service connected and you can get treatment. I think the main push for this proposed, change to VA compensation, VA disability, VA ratings, presumptives was the main goal was to get veteran service connected for these whole host of disabilities to receive treatment from the VA, not necessarily compensating you. That's why the VA is trying to lowball majority of veterans at the 0% levels because they don't want to pay out all this compensation to Vietnam era veterans, to Gulf War era veterans, to peacetime, current veterans who are currently service connected for these disabilities. They don't want to pay it up, which is why, if you think about it, they came out with those proposed changes to specifically sleep apnea. The proposed changes to sleep apnea, the proposed changes to everything respiratory. It's going to make it a lot harder to get those higher VA disability ratings. So if they keep blocking, if they keep denying, if they keep saying, oh no, you don't meet the criteria of 30% for allergic rhinitis, 50% for chronic sinusitis, you're going to keep getting denied, you're going to keep getting blackballed, lowballed, up until that proposed changes to the VA is actually, it runs through Congress like a madman, like Biden in the State of the Union, just talking crazy. It's just going to make its way from introduction to signed in law. So what do we do now? You got to get into the CFR 38. You got to go into your doctor. A lot of veterans are still not seeking treatment for these disabilities. Yeah, you got service connected. Cool. I would say majority of the older veterans, 45 plus, are seeking treatment. However, you got to report, you got to complain. The older the era of the veteran, the more prideful that veteran is in comparison to Gulf War and present day veterans. They're a lot less prideful. They're a lot more complaining, getting stuff documented. They're a lot more tech savvy. What they report and what they complain about, they want to see it written on paper. So they're good about maintaining that medical evidence. But at the same time, you got to know what type of medical evidence is sufficient. For allergic rhinitis, nasal endoscopy is going to capture your level of nasal blockages. If you have any polyps, which is the main criteria for 30%, as well as it'll identify if you have the other 2 or 3 versions of allergic rhinitis, if it applies to you. Cool. And then nasal endoscopy is going to identify your level of nasal blockages, if you have polyps, which is the main criteria for 30%, which is the highest rating for just regular allergic rhinitis. Keep in mind that a nasal endoscopy, as well as possibly a CT scan, can capture if you have granular rhinitis, which awards 20 and 100%. 100% for nasal activities alone, that's wild, baby, that's wild. But veterans don't know. Why? Because they're not reading. They're not reading the necessary information. CFR 38, M21-1 Adjudication Manual. Shit. Look at the goddamn Pact Act Presumptive Conditions. The Pact Act Performance Dashboard has a lot of good information in there as well. But if you want to dive into the matrix, you got to crack open that CFR 38. Things change every single day. Every single day there's opportunity for changes to occur in that manual. But if you're not staying educated, you're just going to keep getting denied, keep getting 0%, 0%, 0%. No, try again next year. Keep trying until we get this proposed law written into fruition. And then, hey, we're back. We're back again. We're back again. You can get service connected, but you'll never see 50% for chronic sinusitis. You'll never see a 30% for rhinitis. No, they want to keep the compensation low. They want to make sure that veterans, yeah, you can get treated for it. You can even get service connected for any disability. But the likelihood, if you're getting 50% off the rip for sleep apnea, for chronic sinusitis, no, we're trying to take that ability away. So just keep in mind, there's always a give take, quid pro quo with everything. And with this PACT Act, it came, millions of veterans came out of the woodworks to get service connected, which is cool because majority of those veterans have been filing claims for countless amount of years trying to get service connected for these disabilities, and they were finally able to get that. However, with that information, the VA still lowballed them 0%, 10%. Not service connected. You have no diagnosis. There's a lot of veterans who are being denied due to a lack of a diagnosis when they clearly have one. So what does that mean? That means you got to go into to start the initial process for the appeals process, which is really daunting. No one wants to fucking do that. No one wants to catch themselves in the appeals process. Why? Because it takes years. It takes years with no clear end result. No end, there's no end game for it. So get educated, understand what the VA is looking for all of these claims, whether it's your first time or if you're going seeking an increase. For those seeking an increase for allergic rhinitis, get in with your doctor. Hey, I'm trying to build this medical evidence. Whenever you're having a flare up in your nasal canal, request a nasal endoscopy, CT scan. The same goes for chronic sinusitis. An MRI, CT scan is going to capture all of that. It's going to capture it during your flare-ups, during those times in which your symptoms are at their highest. That's when you want to go in to a VA medical facility. I know at least here in San Diego. I was talking to another veteran that is almost walk-in. You could almost walk in same day as some facilities. It may be a drive to conduct a CT scan, to conduct a nasal endoscopy. So you just got to be willing to step outside the box, be willing to travel outside of your little city, your domain, in order to build that medical evidence. Just because they're down the street doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in your best interest, which is why a lot of veterans fail when they're working with these county veteran service officers. Like, yeah, I like person to person, this county's down the street, but then you wait 6 months, 12 months, you get it denied in the mail. Oh, why? Because that county VSO is trash. Hey, until next time, this motherfucking Debo out. Y'all stay Gucci with it.